Hello, I'm Will Ridings, a bankruptcy attorney and passionate advocate for financial freedom. Today, I want to challenge the stigma around bankruptcy and prove something important. Bankruptcy has been with us throughout human history. It is a safety valve with which society tempers commerce and credit. This isn't just a legal idea. It's a historic, economic, and moral truth backed by thousands of years of data and rooted in economic logic. Bankruptcy is ancient and intentional. Let's start with history. In Babylon, under Hammurabi's code around 1800 BC, debtors could not be permanently enslaved. After 3 years, debts were forgiven. In ancient Israel, the year of Jubilee, Leviticus 25, mandated the release of all debts every 50 years. And the sabbatical year, Deuteronomy 15, canceled debts every 7 years. In Rome, the cessio bonorum system allowed a debtor to surrender assets and avoid corporal punishment. Why did societies implement debt forgiveness? Because too much debt crushes economies. Early economies were mostly agrarian. If a family went into debt during a famine and never got relief, they became slaves. Too much of this, too many unproductive people, and your entire economy collapses. Debt forgiveness wasn't charity, it was survival. Ancient civilizations knew the truth we often forget today. No society can function if its workers, farmers, and consumers are buried in unpayable debt. Part 2, the economic case. Credit without reset equals collapse. Let's shift to economics. We'll start with a formula. GDP equals C plus I plus G plus, in parentheses, X minus M. C is consumer spending, I is business investment, G is government spending, and X minus M is net exports. In the United States, C, consumer spending, accounts for nearly 70% of GDP. That's over $18 trillion a year. Now think about what happens when consumers are overwhelmed with debt. They stop spending, they default on loans, the creditors stop lending, and businesses stop investing. This was exactly what happened in the 2008 financial crisis. Let's look at a key statistic. In 2007, U.S. households' debt hit 130% of disposable income. That means Americans owed $1.30 for every dollar they made after taxes. By 2009, credit markets froze, GDP shrank, unemployment spiked, and foreclosures surged. And then what? Over 1.5 million Americans filed for bankruptcy in 2010, the highest on record. But this wasn't economic failure, it was economic recovery. Because of bankruptcy, lenders absorbed their losses and moved on. Consumers got relief and began spending again, and the gears of the economy restarted. Part 3. Bankruptcy is reset mechanism. let's talk about how bankruptcy functions as a reset mechanism. A Chapter 7 bankruptcy discharges most unsecured debts, completes in 90 to 120 days, and 90% of the filers keep all their property. A Chapter 13 bankruptcy repays debt over 3 to 5 years, stops foreclosures, and often reduces interests or balances. Bankruptcy resets a person's debt to income ratio, which is a key driver in economic activity. So let's illustrate that. Debt to income ratio, DTI. Total monthly debt payments divided by gross monthly income. So before bankruptcy, the total debt was $60,000. This is an example, obviously. Income was $3,000 a month. So the debt to income is 150%, financially dead in the water. After bankruptcy, a Chapter 7, the total debt is zero. The debt to income is 0 to 20%, and credit becomes available again. Within 1 to 2 years, many bankruptcy filers get new credit cards, qualify for car loans, and improve their credit scores due to better ratios. And I know as a practicing bankruptcy attorney in St. Louis, Missouri, debtors can get a car loan the day after they file, and they can get credit cards within a month after they file. So the statistic, according to Lending Tree and FICO, within 2 years of filing, 43% of bankruptcy filers have a credit score above 640. That means they're back in the economy, spending, borrowing, and contributing. Part 4, why the creditors in the economy need bankruptcy. Contrary to popular belief, creditors benefit from bankruptcy too. How? Number 1 is predictable losses. Instead of uncollectible debt for years, they get clarity and closure. 2, risk-based pricing. Lenders price risk into their interest rates. Bankruptcy lets them adjust models accurately. 3, improved lending market. With bankruptcy, risk pools are better defined, collection costs drop, new creditor becomes safer. Analogy: credit without bankruptcy is like driving without brakes. Sure, you can go fast, but when it crashes, there's no stopping the damage. Bankruptcy is that brake system. It keeps credit honest. Part 5, bankruptcy encourages innovation and small business. Let's talk about the American dream. Do you know how many entrepreneurs have filed for bankruptcy? According to a Harvard Business Review study, 15% of small business owners file for personal bankruptcy before launching a successful venture. Why? Because risk-taking requires a backstop. Without bankruptcy, no one would dare invest, borrow, or start over. Think of Walt Disney, filed in 1923. Henry Ford filed in 1901. Abraham Lincoln twice in the 1830s. Each used bankruptcy as a reset tool, not a failure mark. Part 6, the 3 gears of economic stability. Let's close with a visual model. Imagine 3 gears. Commerce, trade, labor, and production. Credit, lending, interest, and investments. And compassion, relief systems, moral resets. If any gear breaks, the system fails. Bankruptcy is the gear that links credit and compassion to keep commerce moving. It prevents lifetime servitude, protects spending power, and provides a humane path back into economic life. So in closing, bankruptcy has existed for over 400 years. It's not a loophole. It's not a failure. It's a tool, a safety valve used by everyone from ancient kings to modern consumers. And it works. If you or someone you love is stuck in debt, remember, bankruptcy isn't the end, it's the restart button. I'm Will Ridings. If you're ready to reset your financial life, we're here to help.